Oh,
There he is, Kieran
how is that
McNulty.
possible?
Told there'd be bondage. Yes, it's Mark Espinoza. How are you, Mark?
Am I the bondage? I
No,
wasn't aware.
just we're starting the show, so I'm like giving everybody their names. Steve Euchrin, you're good. You're looking like Jake Gyllenhaal in the Roadhouse.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. These red lenses are like game changer. My like night headaches are gone. So
wow, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're blue light, but they also do they do a little
They're
more.
not prescription at all. They're just red light.
Well, I have my prescription in them too.
Oh, okay, good.
So I have my
So you're getting
prescription
a double
in them.
whammy.
I got and then the crazy part is because it has the red filter lens, I end up not even have to like wear sunglasses.
I thought you were gonna just flow into some kind of Cyclops joke.
I was waiting for it. Like,
I'm not that.
and I don't accidentally blow the roof off my house.
I'm not that cool. I'm not
Another
that cool.
cool thing is it retains my optics rays, and no one gets hurt.
The ruby quartz lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys see the? You remember Mindy? What was her name? Mindy, the isotope girl that hung out 20 years ago. I don't know. She moved to Japan and was teaching English. Anyway, like fucking 10 years ago, one of her Japanese kids drew her something for Valentine's Day. It was Cyclops going, roses are red, violets are red, everything is red.
Oh, yeah.
I post that every year on Valentine's Day.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny. I've seen that, and it was in my back of my brain. I couldn't remember where I got that from.
Mindy Owens, that was her name. You remember she was friends with Sean Marr?
That sounds right. I know the name. I never really. I wasn't a big hangout at the isotope. I only did like once or twice, and that was like kind of like around the time meeting you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you never really hung out there, huh?
No. So like but you know, like I would. That was down the road from my work, so when I did get a break, I would go down there, and so I guess I did hang out there, but not like when they have events and stuff like that.
I get what you mean. It wasn't like you'd be there and like spend a few minutes in a comic store hanging out, but you weren't like in for a session where people would come in and go, "Oh, there's Steve on the couch again."
Yeah, no, exactly.
I remember the one event we went to where Kirkman was there, and we told him that they should make The Walking Dead on a TV show. And we were like, we hope it's on a cool channel like HBO or AMC. And he was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, that's also I swear I am the only reason why G.I. Joe, the original Marvel G.I. Joe, like the Hama stuff, is it like Larry Hama? I believe I am the reason why that was put in a trade paperback, because I'll go super quick. After 9/11, we went to
probably true.
You know it. After 9/11, Marvel did a rally of all of the local vendors, and me, Mark, and our friend Glenn went for our comic book store, because at the time we had 3 locations, so we were actually like legit. And a bunch of other like retailers were there, but maybe in total like 35 people that were like vendors or like distributors of comics. So they had Marvel there, they had Image there, and I forget who else was there.
Yeah.
And Joe Quesada was there. I think that's how you say his last name. Yeah. And he was sitting with us for a bit, and we were just chatting about things. And he actually at the time was showing us the Heroes, the Marvel Heroes book. So he was showing us the sketches that
the preliminaries they had he was seeing them for the first time, with together. Yeah.
And as we're sitting there, I'm just like, you know what I really need you to do? I really need you to reprint those old G.I. Joe comics, because I can't find them anywhere. And he's like, and then he was like, he's like, I don't know if we have the distribution rights for that, but I need to look into that. That's a good idea. There you go. So anyway, long story.
Yeah.
As I always say, long story long to my mother-in-law. So
if you have time for a short comic book story, I will tell you Walker Young is working on his Jack Fry collection and for San Diego, which is going to happen this year. Mandy's finishing up the stuff he didn't last time for the floppies, so that's cool. And the Philbox are doing his vampire story, so it's going to be a nice 3-package thing.
Oh, sick.
But I'm trying to get him to not call it, the further and collected adventures of Jack Fry, you know, like everybody does.
Right.
And I told him, he came up with one that was kind of cool, like Jack Fry, Things That Go Bump in the Night, right? To give the idea that, so that's kind of the working title, but I was like, dude, you know, this is a small print run. It's not going to be put through any distributor. And even if it was, it'd be Diamond and they're bankrupt. So who cares?
Right. Right.
I'm like, if I was you, I would call it, I would have like this cool little picture of Jack Fry just sitting down, looking at his own comic book, and just having say Jack Fry across the top and give him one word balloon that just says fucking volume 1.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a short print run. That's brilliant.
I don't think Mimi's gonna go for that. And it's really hard to give people a collected thing of your stories with fuck on the cover.
What if you
censor it
in a weird way, or did
and then what's the point, right?
Yeah.
The way I feel about that little asterisk thing is it's like saying the N-word, right? Just go ahead and say it because you're putting that in everybody's brain.
Oh,
so
okay.
If it's F asterisk ampersand, you know, you might as well just fill out fucking, and that's the joke. Fucking vampires, fucking gargoyles, fucking volume 1.
Right.
But my main apprehensive is that you don't get that joke until you read the stories.
Right.
But maybe that's not a cover joke. You know what I mean? But me, if that was my book, I would do that and laugh at everybody who gave me shit.
What about the back cover? What about it on the back cover? All right. Anyway, I'm not going to creative direct.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. And it looks like the kids want to talk about James Bond anyway.
I saw that. That's pretty quick in the.
How I was told there'd be bondage, says Kieran McNulty, hilarious guy ever. Oh wait, did somebody? Sorry.
Oh no.
And that's Marco Lopez.
Oh, nice.
Randall's buddy.
Nice.
So what to do about Bond? You know what they should do about Bond? Just forget about it. It's over.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
They should do. They killed him. That's it. Go away. The reason I feel the reason the Broccolis are doing this is because no one's going to care about James Bond in 5 years. There's too much weird shit going on in the world. So they're like, hey, it's still worth something. Go ahead. Amazon Prime, go ahead and make the James Bond cinematic
pay me some money. Yeah.
Who cares? Give me
Take
that
our scraps.
Felix Leiter, Disney Plus show or whatever.
Well, don't we kind of have like a bunch of those?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention to James Bond literature. I know, didn't like Warren Ellis did a comic for a while? Somebody cool, Ben Templesmith. Somebody did a cool comic for a while.
They did. That's right.
And I just didn't pay attention because I literally don't care about James Bond anymore. If they somehow did Sean Connery estate is James Bond 007 for the next 90 years, maybe I'd watch that. But it's a period piece, takes place in the 60s. You can bone everybody you want, shoot everybody you want.
It'd never fly. It'd never fly, and it would never work on Amazon. That's the thing.
Making James Bond relevant to now is just such a waste of time. Whatever. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Who do you cast now, right? Sydney Sweeney? I mean, come on. Like, nobody has the fucking cool-ass gravitas to carry off literary James Bond, which is...
That man walks like a panther.
Exactly. There's just everybody's too much of a weenus.
I'm going to come back with a perspective.
Okay,
Kid, give me 2 seconds. I want to hear, Mark. I want to hear. I'm going to come back, and you're going to have to give me the synopsis, the brief version of yours.
I don't know. I mean, I am kind of with you. How many different versions have there been? Like the Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan, James Bond. Everything is kind of evolved so far away from the original source that I don't know. What do we do with it now? You're right.
That's the thing. James Bond is just like a Mission Impossible movie now. So, I hope somebody comes up with something cool. But I mean, I'd rather watch another Kingsman movie. I swear to God, I would rather watch Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies until he's dead, of old age, and not of
until you're 90,
falling off the space shuttle or whatever next he's gonna do. I just think I just think it's like Star Trek now. It's like you have to do what was good about the original, or fucking leave it alone. That's all.
Mark, what did
I basically agreed with that statement. I feel like it's evolved so far away from what it used to be. Yeah.
Just give it a rest, or do something that's so wackadoodle. It's like a sentient octopus and he's fighting, a Jacques Cousteau robot. I'd take that. But just another cool guy trying to be Sean Connery, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I don't want to see a young kid doing parkour off, over a, kitchen island.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna
but do a Kingsman 4, right?
Yeah.
You don't need James Bond to have a young kid doing parkour off of something.
Yeah, I don't think you need. But my thing is, I don't think that's James Bond. But again,
but that's what they would do if they made it nowadays. Yeah, that's what they would.
Both of you.
Well, you're
right, and you're right.
You're only buying this IP to do something. So someone has a plan to do something.
I disagree.
You think they're buying it just to sit on it?
Not to sit on it either. I think they're buying it to have an income and a passive income while they figure out what they're going to do with it.
Yes. But
Jeff Bezos today said, "Hey, everybody, who do you want to play James Bond?" Like he's crowdsourcing it, right? They don't have a plan. They're just like, "Oh, we can run, City." I was going to say City on the Edge of Forever, but that's Star Trek. But From Russia with Love, we can run From Russia with Love on ABC Saturday Night Movies.
Well,
then take all that advertising money while we figure out that it's going to be, fucking Nikki Glazer and Jane Bond or something.
I was gonna say, do you remember back in the day, on what TNT you'd get the month of Bond because TNT would spend $1 bazillion to get the rights for a month. Now Amazon Prime. Now in theory, Amazon Prime just has all the rights to all the Bond movies in some capacity. I was gonna say, my thought is, I don't think you make a movie for 20 years.
Sure,
and just give it this long runway of and then if it builds and you get some hype to it, then you do something with it.
The thing I think works about that is that Walker and believe it or not, Mimi, this is kind of even her idea, and I were doing the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies.
Okay.
So we're doing the math, and Walker's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see another one." And I'm like, "I don't think there's going to be another Star Trek with this cast." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because they're too old." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Look, we just watched this first movie. You were 2 when this movie came out, right?
You go to college soon.
It's literally been 15 years, since the first one, and I don't even know when Beyond came out, but it was over 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, easily.
Some of that was the strike and the coronavirus and all that, but at the end of the day, it's also, Chris Pine is 63 now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I have
to look it up because I'm like, wait, is he? He could be.
No, he's in his late 40s.
No, he's my age.
Yeah. So what's that?
What is he? 80?
He's 82.
No, what if they did this? What if this is the plan? You sit on it for 10, 15 years, and then you get Daniel Craig.
Does 40.
You get Daniel Craig to come back at 70 to do the old man Sean Connery version, and just do one movie, and then that's kind of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, except they killed him.
They killed him.
Did they kill him? Come on.
Yeah, that totally works. Except, they blew his ass up. That totally works. Except make Clive Owen do it. He didn't want to be rugged James Bond because he didn't want to ruin his career. But hey, never say never again, man. With never having done it, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, actually that.
Or an old Clive Owen with another Thunderball remake.
Or you could do the Our Majesty
slaying it today.
Or another Our Majesty's Secret Service remake of that one, but that will never play because it's just too damn sexist if you think about the plot of some of it.
Yeah, I just, you might as well. I mean, there's always some new James Bond story to do.
Yeah,
they're never going to remake the other ones except Thunderball, because that was they pulled the 2001. You know about that, Steve, right? In 2001, A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick worked on the story at the same time. So that's why it's like mostly the same, but the book is all around Saturn, and they just changed it to Jupiter because they didn't think they could do the rings convincingly.
Oh, interesting.
1968, and so around that time they did the first 3 movies a year apart. Did you know that?
No.
Dr. No next summer, Russia with Love next summer, Goldfinger, and at that speed they were like, oh man, we're gonna run out of books. So back then they could hey, see Dr. No again, and you buy yourself a little time. But so while that was happening, this guy was writing an original screenplay that turned out to be Thunderball, and he told they told whoever, Cubby Broccoli had the rights, and he tells, God, what was that guy's name? It was something like Kevin McCarthy, something like that, and they tell Ian Fleming, he's like, it's a great idea. Let me see it. Like, yeah, that's fantastic. How about this? I'll write the book version. So it's not really a novelization. I'll just write that, and we can just work together. McClory. So he has half the rights to Thunderball, and because of that, so that's where Never Say Never Again.
That's how you get to make the other. Yep, exactly.
And we had 2 James Bond movies that summer because one was the real EMI Broccoli one, the real one, and then the other one was the Thunderball remake. So that's why Saga said another Thunderball remake, because you could, That's the one where you get Maya Rudolph to play Jane Bond. Just do that just because you can, and that buys you 5 years, and everybody loves the next one. Like if I was McClory's estate, I would do that. Except I would do it with Bezos. I'd be like, dude, I can really bump this up for you. Just give me a 5-year head start.
Yeah, right.
Just do something ridiculous, and if it hits, then you're a hero. But if it doesn't hit, Bezos is the hero. But either way, Bezos is great, and you've
got it.
You've got Bond coming and get everybody.
So
that's funny.
So I didn't know this, but McClory. Okay, now this is all. I love when like puzzles get put together for me, because it was always like, so McClory is the one behind the James Bond Jr. animated shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that, because I was always like, that always seemed completely out of the norm of what you would do with James Bond. Right.
I think all of that is based on like one line too of Bond's backstory in the thing, and he's like, okay, I got this then, right? Because I own.
Right.
I own
I said this in something. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I was like, I always assumed that, hey, at least we're educating people. I always assumed the Bond was it was Broccoli and the Flemings, and that's what it was. I knew that there was the other why you got the duplicate story. I just never realized what rights he owned from it.
Right.
And then from that, like moving up and then realizing when they did the James Bond Jr. animated thing, I was always like, why does this seem so disjointed to everything? And it's like, because it's not part of that Ian Fleming production rung. It's the other rung, so to say. Anyway, James Bond. I don't know. Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything anytime soon. That's my thought.
I'm with you. But I don't care that you too. But that's totally me, because I was a giant fan of the books, and like a Bond movie was kind of a treat that I would see on ABC Saturday night at the movies. Like if it was a good one that my dad liked, like and then I got to stay up and watch it. Like he loved. Oh my God!
You only live twice.
Yeah, the first Roger Moore one with Jane Seymour. I forget what that one's called.
Wait, that's Solitaire. That's Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah, my two. Yeah, Live and Let Die. That's the one with what's his name? Oh my God, what's the actor's name?
Yaphet Kotto.
Yaphet Kotto. Yeah.
Just
Your powers combined.
I watch religiously. The only two Bonds I watch, the only two Bonds I own are You Only Live Twice, because it's so perfect. And then the Vegas one. What the hell? The Vegas one.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. Those two, I could watch that movie 9,000 times. It's, you know what? It's background noise for me. I
have the giant Blu-ray collection with the space for Skyfall, so I had to buy Skyfall, and I keep it in my giant Blu-ray collection. and that, I think that's why I'm done. Like, I have all the James Bonds now, and I will watch all the Sean Connerys again. And I don't really like Goldfinger like everybody else does. It's all right, but
it's okay.
Like, everybody loves that one. I'm like, man, I'm all about From Russia with Love.
From Russia with Love is awesome. Like, I honestly, like, make me take. I can't think of Robert Shaw's character. Like, give me that
Red something.
Yeah. What the hell was his name?
Red.
Now it's gonna bother me.
Red Smith. Red Death. I don't know.
It's funny because like Bond never really resonated with me like it did with you two. I was always more of the.
I mean, I like the story, but I wouldn't say it resonated with me. Right? Like, I didn't grow up going, I can't wait to be James Bond. Like, I was like, all of my thinking about that when I was a boy was like Wild Wild West. I'd make my mom sew like little pockets in my sleeves because, oh, there's my secret thing where my Derringer is, you know. But James Bond, it's too British. I don't care.
You know what?
Homosexuality and eating and all that shit. Who cares?
My dad played a lot of the Connery ones. He did not like Roger Moore, so I never really got the Roger Moore. But I always appreciated the old. I liked it because it's that, I don't know. I like that old school action where it's just like the two punches and you knock out a guy. Like it's just like a different. I don't know. It's like
two punches this close to your face,
right? You know, it's like I always remember like the one scene where he's fighting like he actually ends up fighting. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson's grandfather is one of the big one of the big Samoan guys. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like the history of films and stuff. I think it's his grandfather, but anyway, he fights this one guy in the thing, and this guy is like. There's no way physically James Bond is beating Sean Connery James Bond is beating this guy up. Like, right. There's just no physical way at all. And he's hitting him with like all this stuff and he just beats him. And it's just like, you're just like, you have to laugh and just move on because it's like, but I just like that kind of fighting style. And then I flip it onto like today and I had John Wick 3 going on in the background and I'm just like, could you imagine like a John Wick 3, like violent, like Sean Connery Bond? It's just like the bookends are so far apart. It's just like insanity. But and I say that as I'm getting ready to watch Reacher season 3, which will be like probably closer to the John Wick 3 sense of violence. But
is that tonight? Is that on tonight?
I think I thought it was the 20th.
I wrote it on our calendar. It's just it's upstairs. Well, I'm just like, I guess we won't be watching Star Trek Beyond if Reacher starts tonight because
episode 1
loves Reacher.
First 3 episodes. You can watch all first 3 episodes tonight.
Well, we better.
Did you watch all the other ones, Mark?
I got halfway through the second season, but I think the things that you didn't like about it, I didn't really care for either, like the new team and everything. Yeah, so I thought it was a cool idea of bringing them in, but it lost interest.
Yeah, so this one is like legit one of my favorite Reacher books that it's based on. And I think the cool element of there's a couple really someone watched the 3 episodes.
Yeah, our boy Chuck.
Yeah.
He's bragging because he's on the East Coast.
Yeah. I was working. But this episode, they introduced a character that's bigger than Reacher, like a bigger, stronger, muscular, taller, stronger. It's kind of a weird twist. You got it just, but dude, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm hoping that this season is, like I said, it's the book it's one of my favorite Lee Child books. So nice. I'm hoping it translates well into the show. And I like that actor. I think that guy's pretty solid. So.
I haven't read any of those books, so I love every second of every episode of that. It's just exactly what I want. Some giant guy who does not really live in the world because he doesn't like the world.
Yeah.
The world doesn't have his code of morality. And so all he can do is just,
right the wrongs and move forward.
Go to Goodwill and get some fresh shirts.
Oh, that's the yeah.
I just love everything about that.
It's so good. I read someone was posting because there's people that don't like Reacher and they don't like this actor. I don't know why. I think he's awesome, but everyone's like, he's the perfect. Everyone's like, and I can't think of what his name is, but like the guy who plays Reacher, Alan Richardson. Yeah, they're like Alan Richardson is essentially what Bruce Wayne should always have looked like as Bruce Wayne in the Batman movies. Like that's
really like big and jacked and just intimidating.
But you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I can see it, but I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen Batman as like this big, gigantic, muscular guy.
Maybe in like the Frank Miller stuff where he's like the future and he's
so old, that's what I like. There's a thing everybody's going, oh, Alan Richardson for Batman, and I saw it immediately because of that. Like that's really the only thing they haven't done yet is make some giant fucking absolute Batman guy, and he's done the work.
Yeah,
and anybody like that looks like Batman as long as you don't have this on your chin. So,
I think he said it's like a dream job, but I don't know. Like, that's one of those.
It would just be really funny, people being like, "I wonder who Batman is," and then Bruce Wayne walks in. He's like 7'3", weighs 400
pounds. Right.
I just look like this. This Batman guy. He must be wearing armor or something.
Yeah,
not this skin tight gray leotard that I'm wearing. Anyway, the thing I love about that guy is that that show Blue Mountain State.
Oh, my
friends Mitch and D-Balls, my friend Danny Balshi were like, dude, this show has your sense of humor. Just watch it. Like watch it up to the credits and then finish the credits and then tell me you're not gonna watch it. And I would like watch the first 2.5 seasons as soon as I did that because it's so fucking funny. But the thing I love best about Alan Richardson is that's very far in his past. It's like 15 years ago.
Yeah, but he's coming back.
One of the guys that is on that show was also one of the co-creators and one of the producers, and he ended up like doing 10 years of How I Met Your Mother as a producer. So like that's how long ago this show was, and it still keeps going and people like it. And now they're doing another one, and Alan Richardson is like, I got to work it into my schedule, but I'm doing it. Yeah. And man, I love those actors like that, where it's like, I don't care how big I get. This is what brought me to everyone's attention. And once a day, somebody goes, I loved you in Blue Mountain State. So I love doing it. So let's fucking do it. And I that's been missing from Hollywood for the last 20 years.
You know what it is? I read that I was reading all the Reacher stuff that he was going to do. They're doing a season 4 and he said he was signed on. You know what it is? It's like, there's a certain kind of actor that does that. A great example is like Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is one of those guys that never forgets where he was. And it's like, I always find it hysterical that like there's that really crazy Alex Winter film called Freaked. If you've ever, like the one. And
Ortiz.
Keanu Reeves is in it, and it's like, and it's at the time
as a dog boy,
and it's at the time where Keanu Reeves definitely does not need to do this Alex Winter cameo, especially
though, right?
Well, exactly. And then it's like, especially like go through all like the craziness of like makeup and all that stuff, and it's just like you're like, see, I will always appreciate Keanu Reeves for doing something like that, because like he started out like back in the day with one of his buddies, and one of his buddies is still doing stuff, and he's like, like I can, and that's the same thing with Richardson with the Blue Mountain. You know what I mean? Like he's a nobody if that Blue Mountain state doesn't pick up. Really, if you think about it, like if no one ever sees that, he probably doesn't get another gig.
Nah, I mean he was kicking around. He was in Smallville. He was.
Oh, that's right. He was.
Was he Aquaman?
You are right though, right? That he was just a regular guy. He's Taylor Sheridan, number 11 on the call sheet, right? But then he like goes, oh, you know, that superhero thing, maybe there's an opportunity there. Let me start lifting. And then all of a sudden, nobody's as big as you, man. So,
right.
But I just love, he still does those crazy, like, you know, schedule filling stuff just to Michael Caine it. It's like, I need money for my house or my new
Michael
gym.
Caine it. I love that.
There's been a lot of advances in like heavy things. I need more heavy things to lift.
Well, yeah.
Him in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, it's still one of my favorite things that he's done.
There's a movie I just have on all the time. I love that movie.
Yeah, always.
That's a background one. Well, speaking of random background people, do you guys, I'm going to name a name, and I don't know if you know him, but do you know who Peter Jason is, the actor?
No.
So he was an actor that worked, he just passed away today. He was in, I think, 5 or 6. I was doing the list before. I just read that John Carpenter posted something that he passed, and it was an actor that's been in all his movies. And I'm trying to think. So in They Live, he's like one of the guys that gives them the glasses, the sunglasses in They Live. But if you look him up, you're gonna look him up, and you're gonna be like, oh, I totally know who this guy is.
Is it like is it the hobo guy who becomes rich and he's like, hey, these guys are pretty great?
Not that guy. That's Bud.
The guy who looks like Dan Harley, and the other guy had a love child.
Hold on, I'll share.
What's his name again?
Peter Jason.
Let me see if it lets me.
He kind of looks like.
Does he look familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. He's in like a bazillion things. But I was like, I read that today and I was like, oh shit. Then I did a little thing and I was like, let me see how many movies I know like that he's in that I've seen. And it was just like
50.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like it was crazy. It was like I know like the 5 Carpenter films he's in. He did a ton of like Walter Hill films. Anyway, I just went down a rabbit hole before I was on with you guys because I was like, I saw the guy, and I was like,
it's kind of bummer.
But I was like, shit, I know he's in a lot of stuff. But
it's weird when this happens and it unlocks your memory of every time you've seen him in every movie, and then you.
That's what it did for me.
Nostalgia, yeah,
that's what it was. Carpenter wrote it, and he was like, something about great character actor Peter Jason who loved working with him, and he said his first film was like Howard Hawks' Rio Lobo. And I was like,
really?
Yeah. And wow. I was like, oh shit, that means this guy is really old. So then my brain was like, well, do I recognize the name? And then I looked him up and I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, wait, he's in that. And it's just like one of those characters in the background of every John Carpenter film where you're just like, yeah, that guy wasn't in a lot of John Carpenter films. It's kind of like the same thing with Jack Nance and like all the David Lynch things. It's like another one of those guys where like you just meet someone early on in your career that you're like, yep, this guy's going to do that role for me. And I'm just going to make sure that he always has, he always has a job kind of thing, Anyway.
Man, I just scrolled through his Wikipedia thing. First of all, there's a whole separate page for his filmography, which is pretty impressive. And then you just like scroll through it, and every single movie is something that you've heard of.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You might not remember what he was. He's like Fedorachik in Alien Nation. All right, he must have been
okay.
But I've seen Alien Nation 9,000 times, so
right.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. We were just like, okay, I know that movie, I know that movie, I know that, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy's been in a lot of stuff. But anyway, sad, but yeah, I brought it up just because we were talking about like, that had happened today. So anyway. I did have another thing. I always like to ask you guys about like tech stuff because I'm always interested in your perspective on it.
Oh, tech stuff.
Yeah, sex stuff?
Tech.
It sounded like sex stuff.
All right. Well, I would ask you.
I was like, all right. Well, hey, finally a conversation I can jump in on.
So, have you seen that they made Hamlet in using the engine of Grand Theft Auto 5? Have you seen this?
Like as a game?
They made the movie Hamlet.
Okay.
In the game of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay. I have not seen this.
I mean, isn't that kind of crazy? Like, there's enough freedom in that game that you could essentially take
play Hamlet.
Right. Like I don't know. I
see. Pretty... So like someone acted out Hamlet in Grand Theft Auto, and they made a movie out of it.
Yes, and got other people to portray because it's not like you need other participants to do that with their characters. It's like I don't know. Like I think it's probably had to have been done before in a video game, but I was like, that's insane ingenuity of like, and also like mastery of
that is actually really interesting now that I think about it. Like getting a whole bunch of people, having like a theater troupe sign into Grand Theft Auto and do a whole play in a game.
Right? Okay. Like, it blew my mind when I read about this, and I was just like, am I the only one that finds this absolutely insane? I don't like. I don't know. Maybe I am. I am. Okay.
I mean, I just watch Walker play those video games, so I don't really know how that works or why that's cool. That's
you know what? I would be interested maybe next week if Walker happens to jump on. I'm adding an Ask Walker thing right here.
Segment.
I'm sorry it took me 36 minutes to say this, but Walker is unavailable today because he's doing homework.
There you go.
So usually he's way ahead, but yesterday they shot a Jugger movie out in front.
I was going to ask what it was about, but there you go. Okay.
It's called Game of Foams. And
awesome.
They shot from after school, so call it like 3:00 until about 8. And then I made pizza and quesadillas for everybody. And they watched Ted for a while. And then I was like, guys, you got to get out of here. You're going to school tomorrow. This is Friday night. And they're like, oh, yeah. So he's editing the movie together right now. Wanted to give everybody his apologies.
Okay.
No dog skulls were used in the
movie. Did you watch have you seen Blood of Heroes yet?
I have not, no.
Okay.
No, me either.
I added it to the shared drive.
Oh.
I will it should be in there. I'm confirming now, but I added it in there. So probably when we're done here, we will go.
Yeah. Just kidding.
I'm just joshing.
Did you guys see Captain America yet?
I haven't.
Okay. I am hoping to take Marlo and Harper a little later this evening to go see it because
all right.
I have to go see it.
I sent Steve a clip from it of like it's Falcon rides on
riding the missile.
And I was like, all right, I'll see this.
I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah.
You can tell that the Israeli superhero character Sabra is sort of. You can tell her character has sort of been
pared down, or
she shows up at the end in this colorful leather jacket that you realize is probably supposed to be her superhero costume. But she's basically Harrison Ford's Secret Service agent the whole time, and she's only called by her real, her civilian name. Mm-hmm. So like if you don't know who that's supposed to be or why, it's pretty inoffensive, but you kind of wonder like why they give her like lingering camera shots sometimes, because in the final cut she's not a non-player character, but she's just kind of like somebody for the main characters to talk to. So you kind of realize like her story's gone.
So good. You enjoyed it?
I loved it. So here's what I tell everybody. Everybody agrees on like the top 10 Marvel movies and the bottom 5. And then the middle is just kind of this.
Yeah, they all bounce around.
Whatever your taste is. I'd put it on the higher end of those.
Oh, okay.
So like around the first Doctor Strange and the second Ant-Man. I was very entertained, but it's not like top 10. But it's really good. Walker, on the other hand, he says that's his favorite Captain America movie yet.
That's wild.
I know. I was like, wow, really? And he's like, yes, absolutely. He just loved. I said, tell me the one thing, and he goes, I love the new Falcon. And I'm like, again, I don't know where this is coming from. Explain yourself, sir. And he goes, well, think about it. Like Captain America, Steve Rogers is this iconic thing. And then Falcon's just a regular guy who has a flying suit because the military has it. He's really good, but he's just a regular guy. And he just hangs out with Captain America until he gets good throwing punches too, and has all the adventures to the point where old Cap fucking hands him a shield and go keep punching Nazis, man. You're my guy. And everybody sort of goes along with it. And then he gets a guy. He gets to be Captain America because he's just a sidekick who wants to be there, right? Yeah. And so the Walker says the new Falcon is the same exact thing, but didn't get to train with Captain America. So we get to watch this whole thing again, where this guy's like, he almost gets killed a couple of times. And he's so put me back in, Cap, you know. And so Walker really responded to that as a guy who's going off to college to join the world. And I'm like, all right, man, you made me see it. It's cool. Awesome. It's not beating Winter Soldier in my in Daddy's world, but you know,
I don't know. I'm still partial to the first one, but that's I don't know. That's Jim Johnson. Like that's just like they got the perfect director to do the perfect period.
Yeah, the first one's perfect.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So
the first one's like the first Iron Man. If that doesn't work, you know,
exactly, 1000%.
It's interesting. Walker gravitates towards like I know he likes Red Hood too, right?
I was gonna say that, and he likes the Venom. He likes the Venom character. What's not
Agent Venom?
Agent Venom.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean the Red Hood though, more so like just the guy who gets trained by the guy.
Yeah, I think it's more that he doesn't feel like he gets to wear the Batman suit yet, but a Red Hood suit, you know, I could do that. He loves Nightwing.
Captain America.
Yeah.
He loves Nightwing and stuff. It's probably, I don't know. The Captain America, I have all this Cap stuff, you know, so he probably just is like, oh, that's Daddy's thing, you know.
That's funny.
Oh, that's our boy Tim, who does the music for the Star Trek thing.
Oh, so basically they already made your idea, Steve, an old man Bond movie, but this time he's in space. He's a space cop.
It's a Western. He's just saying that because it's Sean Connery.
I mean, Outland is high noon in space.
Yeah, like exactly.
I mean, like you could. I think I read once where like Sean Connery was essentially like, I'm playing Gary Cooper. I'm doing my best Gary Cooper impersonation the entire time whenever I'm like confronting a person. And it's just
so. Last Monday, Randall and I did that. Randall finally watched. We did Outland. So that was really fun to watch Outland. And you guys know I have this thing about T-shirts and movies, right?
Of course. No, not you.
So the second I finish Outland, I'm like, I got to get a good scan of the big 2.7 so I can make one of those gray T-shirts. It'll be like $6 from the digital transfer thing. And I go online looking for it. And there's like 50 Redbubble things, all the different versions you could get. And I just think that's amazing that a movie from 1981, you know, it's 42 years later, and some guy goes just offhandedly, I wonder if I can get a Con-Am 27 shirt. Yeah. What kind do you want?
Right. What color T-shirt?
What fabric?
Yeah.
Baseball tee.
So that was cool.
I think it's just the wonderfulness of like where pop culture and like nerddom has gone, where things like that are just completely 100% available, you know, available if you want to make it. I think that's kind of,
that's the thing. It's not even just that it's available, but like the weirdest ass shit. Like it took me less than $100 and just the longest amount of time was waiting for the shit to come from Amazon. And I had a rollerball suit.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
you know what it is? It's another one of those things. It's like the Alien Romulus hat. That's all we cared about. Like we didn't care about the movie. Like
I haven't even finished that movie yet.
Right. Like I mean, I've seen
wear that hat all the time.
But all we wanted was, okay, I just want the hat to put next to my Nostromo hat. That's all I need to have the version, you know, like I don't know. I just find that hysterical. And then we
did you see the director wanted to potentially have that movie be a surprise alien film, like not marketed as an alien film. You would just kind of go in, and then all of a sudden there would be like xenomorphs and aliens everywhere.
You know what? I don't think the marketing behind that would have.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I don't know how you do that.
You can get away with that on TV because of what they did with Baby Yoda. But but I don't see a studio doing that for a theatrically released film.
And that's Disney.
Too much.
Yeah.
There's too much on the riding on the success of that for the theater owners themselves.
Yeah. And again, back to the IP whole. Like, you're not paying for that IP to just like not promote that IP. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the only time I could think about that kind of working was when they did that Split movie, which was like a sideways. What was that movie?
Oh, Sixth Sense, and like
the other one, Unbreakable.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Where like the whole movie plays out, and you're like, all right, that was weird, and then it ends with Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable watching a TV, being like, oh shit, like wait, what? Spoiler. It came out 12 years ago.
But the funny thing about that movie is that's during M. Night's like down. Well, I guess he's still in a downswing.
Yeah, like he hasn't really recovered from being
anything
happening.
Yeah, The Happening. You think that's what killed him?
I think so. It was probably the first nail in the coffin, if not the only big.
Was that the Evil Plant one?
That was the Evil Plant one.
See, here's the thing about M. Night Shyamalan. I love his fucking movies. I love them all. They're just so weird and uncommercial, but that's kind of what I like about him. There's always some like really crazy thing that happens, or some weird thing that he asks you to buy, and I'm like, okay, there's a fucking mouth-breathing chick in a pool in L.A. Okay.
No, it wasn't. I was gonna. No, it's Lady in the Water. That's his first bomb. Then he does The Happening, which is also considered a bomb. Then he does The Last Airbender, which is like, hated. Yeah. Then he does After Earth, which I actually didn't mind. Then he goes, that's Will Smith. Then he does The Visit, which I don't remember, but then he does Split and Glass.
Yeah.
And then he does Old, which is the one where they're on the beach, which is actually, I actually didn't hate that one. And then Knock at the Cabin, which is a good book, but not a great movie. And then I guess he's got one called Trap, Trap. That's the, that's the one at the concert.
Yeah.
With
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
What's the evil elevator one? Which one's that?
Oh, Devil.
Yeah.
That's not him.
That's not him?
No. It has the vibe of an M. Night movie.
I thought that was one of his movies.
No, who is that? That's actually a good director too. I can't think of what his name is off the top of my head.
Huh.
One of these people is the devil. That's kind of like our podcast. Our
show. He wrote it.
Oh, okay. That's
there you go. Well, but it's the director is John Eric Dowdle. And what
did that come out around the same time as Old? Because I remember it.
That's 2010. So yes,
I really got that crossed in my wires then.
Let me see, 2010. So that's around the time of Last Airbender. So that's exactly. He writes it after Last Airbender. Probably couldn't get directed.
Everybody's like, no directing.
Yeah.
I like it. I liked Lady in the Lake so much that I actually bought the book that he wrote about how badly all the production went.
Oh, really?
And it was really, really interesting book because just to get his side of it, right? And it was actually kind of evenly presented. Like he didn't shy away from like taking responsibility for shit
why it went bad. Oh, that's interesting.
For shit that he could have done differently, you know?
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised. Like, wow, I started reading it. I was like, oh, I'm paying for this guy's therapy, I guess. But man, that didn't last 20 pages. It was like really a riveting story that was pretty evenly balanced and presented. So,
oh, that's interesting.
I felt that way about that John Carter book you gave me about why it just
Gods of Hollywood.
Yeah, that was a really kind of interesting back end read.
The thing I liked about that book is that they were writing it as it was happening. Like it was that book came out 7 months after the premiere date of the movie. And that book was 3/4 done before the guy was just waiting to see how bad the reception was going to be, I bet. Anyway, I really like that book too. I'm at the point now where I enjoy books like that more than actual movies sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. How did it all go wrong though?
Yeah.
Were you just not looking at the gas gauge, Larry, or was that?
I love that John Carter movie though, so I still love that John Carter film.
Oh man, that movie's great. That's a tragedy that they didn't do 2 more. That was a wholly great setup. I love that.
Do you think it's so jaded that Disney would never dig into the crate again to ever do something with that again?
With John Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's just because the perception is the IP is way too old, right? I mean, that book was written in 1909, and just think about nobody every review was like, "Oh yeah, that movie's good, but it was kind of stale. It was just ripped off of all these other movies." And
it's like no.
You can't explain to everybody. No, that's where all the movies got their shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
Larry,
whole
book I want you to read
Wars about that. Sorry.
Oh, there's a book called Red Carpet. Have you heard of this? It's the story of the nexus that formed when Hollywood realized it needed China's cash, and China realized it could first manipulate and then appropriate Hollywood's special gifts for enchantment, whatever. It's a great back end story like that, where it just kind of talks about how I think starting with The Fugitive potentially is when it all started to like interweave in a way that it manipulated how films were made in the country and how they look and sound. It really kind of, when you compare it to what cinema has happened in the past 20 years and how things look, it's wild. And then now we're at a point where China is like, we don't even need your movies now. We'll just make our own. So now this whole revenue source is gone, and these movies have been warped to a way that doesn't really fit our market anymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm glad Walker's not here. He would just burst into tears.
Well, you heard about that. What's that Japanese animated movie that it's about to hit 2 billion? Did you hear about that?
Oh no, what is it?
I can't remember what the hell it's called. It's like a Chinese
looking at the comments. Oh nope. Juan Carter, Warlord of Tijuana.
Oh, Niza 2. Niza. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know. It's like making like a bagazillion dollars, like nutso money. But now I don't. Hold on, let me see. Niza 2.
Oh, Niza 2.
It's a sequel to.
It's not what I thought it would look like.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That's called Red Carpet, Mark. I'm totally getting that. I'm totally getting that book, because I first started paying attention to that when we saw Great Wall. And Matt Damon's doing all this apology tour about, like, I'm sorry I made this movie. Please go see it. And we saw it. And I was like, man, this movie's great. And, but
Pedro Pascal.
But it's all like,
who's his buddy? Yeah.
Pedro Pascal and Willem Dafoe.
But it's all, you get why they were mad, right? Here's like a whole bunch of white people coming to solve our monster problem. Yeah. But like, it's like, I don't know, man. That movie was great.
Mark,
I'm sorry for anybody getting mad, but there's flying dancers running up the Great Wall of China, fucking killing monsters with swords. Like, wow, what do you have against this film?
What was the one I just recommended to you? Did you ever finish watching that?
Oh, I started watching it. It was like, what was it? It was something.
What the hell is it called? Don't you add it to your like just watch thing?
Yeah, it was like the War of the.
What the hell is it called? I can't think of what it's called.
That's funny. It was fun.
Lord of the Beavers.
Lord of the Beavers.
No, I wrote it down.
No, no, it wasn't that.
The last one you recommended to me was the Three Musketeers one. That was great.
Yeah. This one, I don't know if Mark's finished it yet. What the fuck is it called? It's on Amazon, right?
Yeah. Come on, guys.
What the hell is it called?
No. Oh wait, no.
Have you guys watched Landman yet? Oh my god, I love that show.
No, but Jez started watching it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But
we got sidetracked by Severance. That came back.
I watched the first episode of that, and I'm like, I can only watch this in the daytime now.
Wait, have you seen it at all, or just?
I saw the first season back when it was on, and then I just watched the first episode of the second season.
This one,
Creation of the Gods, Kingdom of the Storms.
Wow, that sounds fraught.
There's a lot going on.
Well, I will say this:
Creation of the Gods 1.
Yeah, well, it's
they didn't finish creating all the gods in this first one. This is
all I will say. It's long, well worth it though. It's on par. I feel like it's on par with the Three Musketeer movie.
That's some bold words.
Yeah, so I think it's good.
I did skip ahead a few times.
There's a lot of people, but this is part 1, so we don't know where it's going in part 2. So you got to kind of.
Very true.
I hesitate to bring this up because I find it might be a little off topic, but it's not. And I won't continue talking if you don't care. But my new obsession, like, guys, I cannot tell you how much I fucking love this entire thing, is the show called Below Deck. It's on Bravo, and it's about the yachting industry. And I feel like I turned into this regular person, like Nancy Sen or EJ Fettis. Those two, they're my two friends that love the reality shows. And I dig a good Naked and Afraid every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I enjoy like guys walking around with blurred out naughty bits, like trying to make sharp sticks to wrestle catfish in the African. I get that. I get what they're doing with that, but I'm pretty immune to most reality shows. Oh my fucking God. Just you guys, the thing is, it's like I haven't had like a straight job for a long time, possibly since the 20th century. I haven't done the math, but I might not have had a straight job in the new millennium. So I kind of just have this fondness about working with other people. Mm-hmm. But you imagine like hating people, having giant personality conflicts with a whole bunch of people, but now you're on a luxury yacht that you don't own. And you can't get away from anything.
Yeah, right? You're like in a bed, like,
oh my God,
sliver of a bed.
Like, and oh my God, I have so much joy. I cracked through 2 seasons of Below Deck, and then one of the captain on Below Deck had like a nerve problem and needed to be replaced. So in true corporate synergy, they replaced him with the lady captain from Below Deck Mediterranean.
Oh,
like for like 6 charters, right? Gets everything ship shape, and then goes back to her show. So I'm like, holy shit, I got to watch her show now. So I started episode 1. There's a new captain. There's Captain Mark. Where's Captain Sandy? Holy shit! And now I'm sucked in, and there's 3 other shows, and I'm gonna watch them all because it's.
That sounds like a show I would have to watch in the daytime.
Right, just the fear.
Yeah, the anxiety.
Mark, you would not like it. It would just be like going to work for you.
So I had a girl that
people waking me up at 1 a.m. to make them burritos.
Yeah,
you know. It's like...
I was gonna say I had a girl, Kim, that worked for me that was crew on like a billionaire's boat.
Yeah.
So I have to ask her if she knows about it. I have to ask her what she thinks about it. She actually moved, and I think she moved to Australia and she still sails and all that stuff. So I have to ask her.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna ping her after this.
I'm sure she knows all about it. Like everybody asks us if we've seen Chasing Amy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She did. She did for like 5 years. So I know.
Dude, she might love this show because
that's what I'm saying. She might
know half the people in it because that's what happened in. Anyway, who cares? My family is sick of me like going. Okay, do you guys want to hear what happened with Sandy and Bobby? Because holy shit, he told Lauren he loved her. Like what the fuck? They've been on this ship for 6 months, and Mimi's like, "Who are you?"
what happened to Larry?
Can you just talk with your son about Machine Man some more? Because I was used to that.
That made sense to me. That made sense that it didn't make sense.
Anyway. So if you like that kind of thing, I really enjoy it. And I got to tell you, whatever, it's fine.
I love that you love it. That's the best part.
Yeah. I did start rewatching The Last Ship, so I guess I'm kind of on the same level as you in a weird way.
Captain Chandler says hi.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
Yeah, good old Tiffany got me that season 1 challenge coin. Can you believe it? We were watching it. We got up to that episode where are you on like season 2 or season 3 or something?
I know. I've just restarted it, so I'm like about to finish season 1.
Oh, but you saw it originally, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you know the bit like right before they get to Baltimore where they're heating Baltimore with the bodies of all the dead people, and they don't find anything wrong with that. The guys meet some kids that are like out just killing all the cult members and just kicking ass and taking names, and they all think they're like retired army or something, and they're just kids really good at video games. And so that's when Captain Chandler gives the leader of the kids his challenge coin. He's like, "Hey, when you grow up and want a job, come hook me up."
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I never watched that show, but you guys always talk so highly of it. I'm like,
it's cotton candy adventure hour.
It's
I can't really say, oh, drop what you're doing and watch this show. But if you find yourself watching it, it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Like Timmy's like, Last Ship is epic. See, that's what I would say, but that's because we've seen it all, right? I don't think it was really epic at first, but I was really interested in how they were going to solve some of their problems. And Rona Mitra is the scientist, so
yeah,
I was just fine for 2 seasons watching her just walking up and down the hallway.
Yeah, and then like in the second episode, they bring in Larry, who's basically just like, "What are you guys doing? What's going on? Let me show you. Oh, that girl's hot. Oh, what's it? Oh, this is pretty cool." Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's like the best compliments anyone's ever given me. that is like those are the characters I like because I'm kind of that guy, right? Like I'm not really in your story, but I'm around and I'll tell you what I think. I don't get involved, but anyway, that's awesome. I love you, Mark. I'm texting. That's awesome. He's looking out for his daughter, saving everybody. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's too funny.
What do you think, guys? On that note,
yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you caught that earlier, Mark, but this is actually the 50th one of this we've done. Think about that. How crazy is that?
Yeah, congrats, everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad we started doing this.
We're on a pretty good pace. We miss everyone every once in a while, but
50.
I mean, 50. We did 50 in
a year and a half, maybe.
62 weeks. Yeah. So that's almost once a week. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty.
20 more episodes, and we'll be Chris Pine's age.
Is he 52?
No, 82.
82.
Yeah, like so 50 is pretty cool, man. So congrats. I think it's cool. I like
it. Yeah, dude. I
miss it when we don't. I really do.
Yeah.
When you realize that we were actually doing this not on video, talking to one another every day, and now we like that's the crazy part when you think about it. Like I wonder when the start of our messenger started.
Oh God. Oh man, we've been friends for years.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting.
Morphed a few times.
Well, morphed. It dropped people and it mostly just evolves when we drop a person out of the there you go.
This is for you, Mark. Stay handsome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Me and Steve do what we can, but
yeah, barely.
Fools.
But awesome, man.
All right, and thanks for everybody watching, right?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's awesome.
It's a 50 more.
Larry, real quick. What's the movie for Monday?
Oh, yeah. Oh, get this. It's a double feature.
Okay.
Old Roadhouse and New Roadhouse.
Well, has not seen the old Roadhouse
he
or
hasn't
the new
seen
one.
The old one nor the new one. So I'm like,
perfect.
I want to talk about the new one, but you have to see the old one to get everything I say about the new one.
Okay.
Because I those two are the same movie and people don't really see it. But like every single story beat is exactly the same. They just move stuff around. Like, and it wigs people out until they realize that Sam Elliott is a little African-American girl in the new one. But once you get that, you're like, oh, okay. It's not the bar. That's the dad's cafe, but they move stuff around, but it's the exact same movie.
Oh, I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested to hear what He thinks of the Double Deuce.
Yeah,
So,
I might actually join you and watch it.
He'll be like, he'll want to talk about Bill Murray and his brothers calling Scott Rubin and saying, "Hey, we're watching Roadhouse and they're kissing your wife, Kelly Lynch." Ha ha ha. Because, and then I'll be like, Randall, no, we're talking about real movie stuff now.
That's awesome. But that's Monday. All right, I will definitely.
Yeah, Monday.
I will catch that for sure.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Later, all.
Another one hits the